So as we go back to our number 2 bust, Jamarcus Russell here, like aside from him, that 2007 quarterback draft class here, I'm reading it, featuring names Brady Quinn, Kevin Kolb, Drew Stanton. The quarterbacks from that class made a combined 139 starts, the fewest by a draft class since 1996. Could we see something similar? Could we be in danger of seeing something like that this year, Geoff?
Are you dragging the good name of Kevin Kolb down,
Indeed,
down
I
the
am.
street, Emerson? I'll defend Kolb a little bit. He actually won a starting job and kind of just got knocked out of the league because of, I believe, concussion issues. But you're right. It was a weak draft class. And I think that there's the problem with this year's draft class is there's no sure thing. Like if Malik Willis doesn't work out, well, then we go down the road like Desmond Ridder. What if Desmond Ridder just turns into like an average, like maybe a backup or just like a really low end starter? Well, then we're looking at Sam Howell to maybe work out. I like the ability of Sam Howell, and he's got a big arm and a little bit of Josh Allen traits about him. But if he doesn't work out either, I mean, there's no sure thing here. So some of these guys have some decent upside, but I don't know if the upside is on par with what we've seen. I think there is a very good chance that a lot of these guys could just be 8 games, and it's like, okay, we've seen enough, kid. We're going to, sit you on the bench and probably draft another quarterback. So I think there is a lot of bust potential here. I don't know if it'll be quite as bad as that draft class. I think that you will see at least like a guy like Malik Willis get a real shot for a couple years and probably put in some time. Potentially a guy like Ridder too. But yeah, like I said, if Willis especially doesn't work out, who's trending as the number 1 pick, this draft class could be very forgettable.
Pearce, how do you view this year's quarterback draft class?
Talent-wise, there are some concerns, and we could have, a repeat of that draft class that floundered. But that's really only half the story. A lot of it comes down to what system do they end up, what coaching staff, what weapons are they surrounded by. Unfortunately, a lot of times the high-end draft picks are surrounded by bad teams, and they don't produce. But I wouldn't be surprised to see one of the lower-rated quarterbacks who falls to the second round end up in a pretty good team with a pretty good system and actually end up being one of the better draft picks and saving this draft class. So I don't have high hopes for some of these top picks, but maybe a guy like Matt Corral who could end up, in Seattle with some good receivers, good coaching staff, a decent system. That's where I would keep my eye on, the guys that fall to the second round that end up in a preferred situation.